What's up, y'all? It's Christine Pelaez, ADHD, bipolar type 1, nurse, and your host of Soul Centered, a mental health podcast about all things taboo, vulnerable, and soul searching. I talk mental health to free us all from capitalism. On today's episode, I want to talk about shame and negative self talk because they really go hand in hand. But before I do that, as usual, I would like to introduce you to the current vibe, which is Nighttime Hallway from Sanctuary Steen's place. Sanctuary, yeah. I call my place, this is why I call myself, or like my handles, like on Instagram, is Sanctuary Steen, because I believe that your body, first and foremost, is your sanctuary. And then I believe that your home is your sanctuary, right? Like your home should be the place you feel the most safe and the most at home. So, what can I show you here? I believe you can see this. You can't see it up close. Should I describe it to you? I'll describe it to you. This I got at Big Bend National Park in Texas. Texas only has, I believe, two national parks. Um, and this was really cool. It's an art piece, and it's like it's made like accordion style. And so, I mean, but you can't actually. Oh, you could compress it, not completely. All yeah, not completely, but what's really cool about this is that it has different like layers to represent like the landscape in terms of like what's closest to you and what's furthest away. So that's why I got it because it's really beautiful. And then I also wanted to show you. So, well, I didn't really want to show you this. This I don't think you could see, but I'll describe. And for my podcast listeners who are just audio, they can't see anything anyway. But I have here in my hallway. Oh, here, let me tell you about this hallway setup. So as you can see, I'm sitting in this cool chair. It's like this like clamshell type chair. It's navy blue, and this used to be like my throne at the dining table. But I rearranged my place so I don't really have like a dining room set up anymore. And so like one of the chairs I sold, and then this chair I put in here. Uh, yeah, so I felt like this could be like another seating area. And I also end up using this chair like to put on my shoes because that's really comfortable. You know, when you put on your shoes, when you don't just slip it on, we actually have a chair to sit in to put on your shoes, especially like the ones with laces and stuff. Um, but yeah, so I also wanted to give you an update on my mental health. So like last week I was feeling like really great. Um, and then this week I started feeling pretty down, and like it was it it sucks. It sucks. And I can't help, and I actually told my sister today that I feel broken. And that's so sad. Like I was like, I feel broken, like there's something wrong with me. And that's shaming, by the way. But anyway, we'll get into that. But I think this is such the, mental health is such a journey, right? Like, and that's why mental health professionals and sometimes like just people, they ask your mood, like how are you today, because things can change from day to day. Yeah, so the past couple of days I've been feeling like pretty low, and also like I just had an appointment with my psych NP, and I was telling her that I've been having, and I didn't look up the definition of intrusive thoughts, but I've been having like these thoughts that come in, and it's random because I'll be thinking about, neutral to pleasant things, and then like just thoughts will come in about things that I can't change, or like I'll catastrophize. I've been driving a lot more lately, and like when I drive, sometimes I'm just like excessively worrying, and that's what my NP was saying. Like, oh, you're worrying, like these, yeah, extra worries. So anyway, I'm happy that we are adjusting my medications. So I am on two bipolar medications, uh, lithium and Latuda. And Latuda is supposed to have like antidepressant benefits also. And so when I was in program, my psychiatrist there wanted to increase. He envisioned me increasing the Latuda dose, and so I'm looking at my cat. Like, what you doing? Oh, okay. So and I verbalized that to my psych NP because I'm not in program anymore, so he's not taking care of me anymore. Now I have my psych NP, and so I was telling her like that was the plan, or that was kind of, yeah, that was his plan for me, but we never needed to adjust my dose. And so now here I am. And remember, I'm a nurse and I'm a licensed nurse practitioner. So like I kind of have an understanding of how plans work or whatever. And so I am feeling sad and really depressed, honestly, like just low mood, low mood. And then it like thoughts of thoughts of like it would be easier to not be alive, they do come up, and that's suicidal thoughts. It really is. So anyway, so I'm pretty low. Okay, so I'm pretty low. I have no plan. So 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 no safety concerns. That's like those are the terms. Um, yeah. So I need to close my eyes sometimes to concentrate. So that's what I'm doing. Um, okay, we're talking about Latuda. And okay, so increasing my dose, and I said that to her, and she's like, okay, let's increase your dose. And so now the lowest dose you could be on is 20, and so now I'm on 40, and I can't wait for it to start working. I can't wait because I remember when I first started Latuda, I was like getting off of this other medication, olanzapine, and then there was like insurance issues or some shit, I forget. And so I was kind of without something to cover me for the depressive part, or I don't know if olanzapine covers the depression, but at least I wasn't on a second med for my bipolar, right? And so I got low, and then I remember like within a few days of starting Latuda, I felt good. Like I was like, wow, I'm happy, like wow, this is great. Um, yeah, yeah. So that's where I am. A little bit low. Yeah, that's how it goes. Okay. Just as a reminder. Oh, and what's kind of exciting? I'm going to start this I don't I don't know why I want to say seminar, but like yeah, because I think it is going to be an educational thing, like talks with a physician speaker, I believe, about bipolar, which is great because I don't know much about bipolar. Because what I know about bipolar is that it has both a high mania, manic episodes, and then lows like depression. So you can be high and low. And so if you were with me a few episodes, or yeah, a few episodes ago, I had a mixed episode where I was both manic and depressive. And that was the time that I was first had suicidal thoughts. Yeah, so that was scary. That was intense. Yeah. Okay. So let's start because I feel like there's a lot of shame that I feel, And so let's get into that. So shame, what is shame? Shame is, and I didn't write down the exact definition, but in essence, it's this feeling that there is something wrong with you. Um, yeah, versus guilt. Guilt is you feel bad for something that you have done, right? And Emma, thank you for saying that to me. Uh, Emma's my friend, and she will likely watch this. And so, yeah, thank you. So, yeah, and then shame is just embedded in our culture, really, and it's especially so. I'm Filipino American. My parents are born in the Philippines, and they immigrated here, and I was born here. And there's so much shame in the Filipino culture, right? Like usually, especially like how they will like comment on your look, and like perfection. I feel like perfectionism is very much an everywhere thing, but it's a very much a Filipino thing. And then like they like always comment on your looks, like, oh, you're too dark, oh, you're too fat, you're too skinny. It's like you could never win. Nadia, my creative coach at Nadia Deala at Instagram, she was saying like, yeah, like her family member was like, oh, you look so much better now. Like, what the fuck? like like even a compliment is like kind of like shaming you, that before you didn't look good. Like, yeah. So and then there's a lot of like, and then it gets embedded into how you talk to yourself. And this is where the negative self-talk comes into play. It's like for my whole life, I talked about this, but like, was so goal oriented towards perfection, right? And then if it wasn't perfect, then there was something wrong with me. Always, always. And I didn't say this in my previous pod, but my therapist Charlene, she was saying like, you have a lot of negative self talk. And I was like, how come no one told me before? Like and she was a really good therapist, right? My prior therapist of 7 years, right? Or maybe she didn't say it in those words, or maybe if I'm giving her the benefit of the doubt, maybe she said it and it didn't stick to me, but it's sticking now, And like, and Emma again was saying like, she's the one, because we went to program together, and she was saying like, you're really hard on yourself, because the negative self-talk will come out. It does come out, when you talk, and it comes out like in your speech, like when I was talking to Charlene, my therapist, I was saying I was saying something, I was describing something that I was grateful for. Like it's a positive type thing, but even there was like judgments, like self-judgments, and like negative self talk. And I'm sure you hear it now when I speak to you. And that is part of the reason why I'm doing these is is to evolve, right? And I hope if you are following me and you're interested in this journey, because maybe it's helping you too, that you will see a progression, you know, because that's the goal, right? We all work on ourselves, we all do some good for the world. Anyway, anyway, I don't know. That just happened. That just came out. But um, yeah, yeah. So I wanted to call this. Oh, I want to talk about. Okay, hopefully I'll remember. But maybe I could write this down, but I'm not going to. So a couple. Let me write it down. I have a pen here. Ah. Okay. So I want to talk about at least two things: shame in writing my memoir, and calling this podcast shame. Yeah, let's write that down. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Pod name and memoir. Okay. Um, and if you enjoyed my memoir, you could go ahead and get it, buy it. But also, I plan on reading more of the chapters, not all of them, because not all of them, like I feel like really go with this podcast. Only one doesn't really go, but yeah. So first, let's talk about excuse me. Okay, so let's talk about the. Oh, we'll talk about the memoir already. So, there was definitely, like, I shamed myself for like writing this memoir or having this memoir or having this experience, right? There is such a stigma against mental health, right? Like that it's that okay, stigma is negative, is is like negative feelings towards something. I think that's the rough definition. And so I had I still hold so much shame and stigma for having mental health, mental illness. It's like not necessarily like, oh, it's my fault, but it's like that and I said it earlier, that I feel broken. It always makes me want to cry because it's so sad. Uh, you can't see Pluto, but he's sitting right here, so cute. I feel like this cat is it does he does try to comfort me, but he's also really annoying as fuck sometimes. I'm not kidding. And this will make viewers with cats or animals sad to hear, but like sometimes I'm like, man, you're so why you paw on my face? He paws on my face. My sister thinks it's like he's checking up on you, and like I looked it up, of course, online. It's like he needs something, but it's like, what do you need? You want all the pets? I don't want to pet you right now. I want to sleep more. Yeah, but yeah. Okay, so yes, sad that I I I feel pretty broken sometimes, and I the thing is I also like try hard. You know what I mean? I feel like I try hard to help myself, and yet you know, yeah, okay, let's not get into like how to process feelings and stuff like that. But one thing, okay, Charlene said that I'm this and that. Okay, we're talking about memoir. Um, so yeah, I I felt like I almost felt like I didn't want to tell my story. We're talking about the memoir. I didn't want to tell my story because I didn't want my colleagues, I didn't want my peers to be like, you're dumb as fuck. Like you're so stupid. Yeah, that's what I thought. But I was like, no, I believe in this and I want to tell it. I mean, the dream is that it makes some kind of difference, that it makes a difference to someone, right? Yeah. So I forget what else. I feel like I'm not quite sharp right now. But yeah. Oh, let me tell you about trying to get an official ADHD diagnosis. I mean, I have ADHD, but I guess like, and I didn't explicitly ask her if if I'm diagnosed with ADHD, but I think because right now my symptoms are more in the depressive area, that we're going to tweak those meds. But honestly, here, it's like I claim ADHD, right? I literally tell you that in my podcast. I have it plastered everywhere. Um, to create awareness, right? To create an awareness and to like own it. But I wanted that official stamp. But you know who said, well, yeah. Uh, so was my appointment today? Yeah, my appointment was today. My psych NP appointment was today. So this is how it is with LifeStance because I'm with LifeStance for my psych NP. Um, you she does an interview or they do an interview, and then the next appointment you have already filled out forms, different ADHD forms. You also fill out a mood form that says that actually points that actually wants to. I think it seems like it screens you for bipolar. And then, well, actually, in the end, it says, "Have you ever been told you have bipolar?" I'm like, "Yeah," because bipolar and ADHD can have overlapping symptoms. And then there's another one for PTSD. I guess maybe PTSD, or I don't know, or maybe I'm not sure if that form was specifically meant um, to go with the ADHD like workup, but it was there. But maybe because I have PTSD, yeah. So okay, okay, maybe. So and then there's another form that asks about your childhood, how you were as a child. So honestly, I feel like that questionnaire I couldn't answer like very confidently because I was like, I don't fucking remember how it was as a child. So I guess, I kind of like, I think, but I think like what would have been better is if you filled it out with like a parent or something. As okay, and so during the appointment, we actually call an adult or yeah, an adult that was an adult when you were a child, like around 12. And then she asks questions of them. And then, to be really honest with you, I got frustrated. I got frustrated because we called my dad, and my dad, English second language, okay? English second language, but his English is pretty good. And I thought this wouldn't be a big deal. Like, I thought it wouldn't be that hard, but it didn't go that well. And I was like, yeah, that really frustrated me. And I have a little bit of shame or guilt around how I acted because I kind of like yelled at my dad, um, on like when with her. I was like, I feel like he's not answering well. But anyway, yeah, but she said, like, I still think you could have ADHD on the hyperactive side, maybe not so much on the disorganized side. Um, yeah, but she says, but let's just do one medication change at a time. And it's true. I mean, the ADHD symptom that I am most concerned about is like losing my train of thought when I'm speaking. I feel like that's the biggest one. Yeah, and then also like um kind of like being restless. Yeah, that too. Okay, so I told you about that. So in case you were wondering how ADHD diagnosis works, it's not easy. Yeah, it's not easy. First of all, you need a psych provider. It can't just be your primary care provider. They can't do it. It has to be a specific psych provider. So then, yeah. And then you go through all those things that I just listed. Okay. So I wanted, moving on to the second thing about this topic that I chose for today is shame. I wanted to call this podcast Shame because I wanted to talk about and and like I say in my intro, well, no, that's wrong. I wanted to work through my shame. Yeah, yeah. And then when I talk to Genesis, she's one of the reasons why she's one of the inspirations for or supports. She's one of my best friends, and she, said like, yeah, you should talk about shame because people don't talk about it, right? And that's the whole thing. It's like people don't talk about honestly, people don't talk about things that make them feel bad. People don't talk about their shortcomings. People don't talk about their mental health, and this is why I'm here, right? To talk about it, to normalize it. Yeah. And then going back to my overall purpose, just like, okay, we're talking about purpose, but like, this is why I want to talk about these things because I want to normalize talking about these really hard things, this fucking heavy shit. Because, like, and especially our mental health, I think capitalism is the fucking worst, right? They capitalism will stretch us, and it is stretching us to our breaking point, and it's like we just take it. We don't talk about how much harm capitalism and work, well, work is capitalism, right? So just zooming out, like how toxic capitalism is to our mental health, and so yeah, that's why that's my purpose. That's why that's my tagline. I'm Christine Pelaez, and I talk mental health to free us all from capitalism. Like I could just like rattle it off because it's true. This is how I feel. Yeah. What else? Let's sit. Shall we just sit? Let's sit. Let's just sit in my vibey nighttime hallway. I mean, I'm cozy, right? Don't I look comfy right now? I hope you're comfy right now. Listen to some SF vibes, SF sounds. I mean, I'm wearing a mic, so I don't know how much you can hear. Oh gosh. Did I even talk about anything? This is shaming myself, right? Like I feel like sometimes I don't talk about anything, but then I am talking, right? I'm literally talking. So we're talking about things and it's all over the place and I blame my ADHD for that. And I don't script anything because stress, and I'm not trying to stress because I want this to be sustainable for me. So then this is just you and me and we're just vibing. Vibing talking about serious shit like suicide. Oh boy. Um, I'm gonna check the time on this. Let me check on the time, and then otherwise, I'm gonna start talking about family in a nice way. Okay, I mean, we're getting close to a good time. I mean, okay, we're getting close to 30 minutes, which is like my ish average. But the importance again of family. When they say family is important, um, it is. I just went off. I'm going off into like dreamland. Uh, yeah, I think okay, let's tie it in. I think I already tied it in, right? I think I already tied in like the purpose of this podcast and the purpose of my I mean the purpose, yeah, like this episode's material, if you will, topic. And the purpose of my podcast. Yeah, I did already. Um, Here, let me consult my thingy. Pod name, shame. Gosh, that's actually a did I mention this before? I mean, I'm gonna say it again, but that's kind of a lot of these are new ideas. Oh my God, all my shit. All of the bipolar is new. All this shit is new. So much shit is new to me. Okay. So anyway, I'm really talking to myself. But like the idea of shame, you know, that we just hold so much of it. And that's why one of my podcasts, like, um, name ideas was like releasing shame, but yeah, and then it was going to just be shame. And then I went with soul centered because that, um, more so reminds me of part of like my purpose too. Yeah. Yeah, is to really know. Yeah, that's what I used to say. It's like this is to really know myself, and I mean this is clear, right? Like part of the reason why I like this podcast is as if I'm studying, because I'm telling you the pearls that I learned from therapy, and all the things that I've learned. Not everything, but most things, and big things too. So yeah. Oh my gosh, let me tell you a story. Okay, okay. So I felt shame, guilt, both. Oh, see, it's hard for me to differentiate sometimes. But I think, anyway, but I will read this chapter to you when I got admitted to the hospital, for my bipolar. Um, but I ended up yelling at the physician, because he was about to not admit me. And I was like, I need fucking help. Uh-oh. Earthquake. That's the cat. Okay, there. Okay. So it was funny. Someone said to me, they're like, you know what, man, we can't be all nicey nicey sometimes. Like, sometimes some people need to fucking cuss the fuck out. And I was like, yeah. And then part of one of the diagnoses for me, during that emergency room visit, was rage attack. Rage attack. Damn straight, that was a fucking rage attack. Like, yeah, I'll read to you. I'll read to you the thing, and then it'll paint the whole picture, because yeah, because that's what needed to happen. So let's end for tonight. Thank you for watching and or listening. I hope this was somewhat entertaining or something. My name is Christine Pelaez. I talk mental health to free us all from capitalism. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.